Call the Board of Aldermen meeting to order for the City of Warrenton on August 5, 2014. At this time, if everybody will stand and face the flag, Alderman Clark will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the regular board meeting minutes from July 15, 2014. Any discussion or corrections?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Alderman Clark, seconded by Alderman Sluter to approve the regular board meeting minutes from July 15, 2014. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Sluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Abstain. I was absent.
Alderperson Casterly is absent. Alderman Ock is absent. Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0 with one abstention and 2 absent. Item 3B, work session minutes from July 22nd, 2014. Any discussion, corrections, or additions? Entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the work session minutes for July 22nd, 2014.
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Sluter, seconded by Alderman Hawley to approve the work session minutes from July 22nd, 2014. Roll call, please.
Alderman Sluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
3-0 with 1 abstention and 2 absent. Item 4 on the agenda is hearing from the public, and at this time we extend an opportunity for anybody from the public to come forward and address the board. Ask that you keep your remarks to 5 minutes or less. So if anyone would like to speak to the board, please come forward at this time. Not hearing from anyone, we'll extend that same courtesy to the Board of Aldermen. If any of the board members would like to address the public, I'll start off with Alderman Clark.
I have nothing this evening.
Alderman Holly?
I have one question that I would like addressed for the public. When someone calls with street lights that are out and we wait until there's so many that are out before we service those, can you somebody explain why we do that for the public?
Because we are contracted with John Hanlang to do them, and for $35 a light with his boom truck, we can't afford it. It costs me $500 to rent a boom truck for one day. So we're I wait and make sure he's got so many. He's coming tomorrow to pick up the list. I have 12 on the list now. He's coming to pick it up tomorrow, and he'll have him done this weekend.
Perfect. I just want the public to understand why.
Yeah, that's the reason why, and I try to make it so he's not running in operating his truck for one light. So we kind of set a thing of 12, which is not hard to do. I mean, he's been doing them. As far as if he comes in and has time, he'll come in and do it. If I have a list, he'll do some of them. If it rains or something, he'll come in and do them during the day or on a Saturday or Sunday and do them. So, but he will be here tomorrow to pick up the next list. So.
Okay, thank you.
That's your only question?
Yes, sir.
That answer it?
Mm-hmm.
Alderman Sluter?
I have nothing. Thank
Nothing? Alderman Dreyer?
I've got nothing.
With that being said, we'll move on down to the mayor's report, and I just have a couple brief things that I want to mention to the board and the public. First thing I want to read to you is a letter from one of our residents here in the city of Warrenton. Whenever we have good news, we're all happy to hear good news, and we get too much of the negative news sometimes. So I want to share this with the public. It says, I would like to take this opportunity to commend the following individuals for their work recently completed on Roanoke Street sidewalk project. And he lists our workers: James Bruce, Darren Diekman, Mike Hargrove, Jennifer Heine, John Leash, James Noble, and Kevin Shaw. This project was expertly done in a minimal amount of time despite the oppressive heat wave with which these individuals had to contend. All members of this crew were friendly, professional, and extremely efficient. Their individual work ethics was above reproach. These qualities are all too rare in these times and should be recognized. These individuals have brought great credit upon themselves as well as the city of Warrenton. Request these individuals be recognized at your next council meeting. Further request a copy of this letter to be placed in their personnel file for possible future salary considerations. Your favorable consideration in this matter will greatly be appreciated. Signed by George W. Akers, Jr. So we thank Mr. Akers for his complimentary letter. We will put a copy of this in each one of the people he mentions personnel file. And I'm going to have you pass that down to Melody. The other thing I wanted to call attention to is the Seeger property we recently purchased out on Willow Road. I have a reason to kind of drive by there from time to time, and I wanted to think, I think Brad might be in charge of that, of cutting those tree limbs off around the house.
Yeah, we had to do that to get the mowers we were.
I don't think, for some reason that bothered me. I always wondered, why would he let those tree limbs grow that low? It really looks good. You did a good job on it. The place looks very presentable. So
I'll pass that on to Larry and Larry then.
Okay, well, they did a good job. We thank them for that. The other thing I was going to mention to the public, the last day of political signs. We probably have gotten more complaints on political signs this year than ever. Tomorrow they'll be gone, especially if you're on the losing side. Those signs leave first. Sometimes the winners leave them up for a day to gloat a little bit, but by tomorrow evening most of them will be gone. Everything will be back to normal. So I want to thank the public for their patience with this year. The other thing I mentioned, our videographer John Marino just told us a little bit ago, he's the proud grandparent of a new baby boy. Congratulations, John. And that's all I have. With that being said, we're going to move to item 7 on the agenda. Request to close the following roads on September 27, 2014 for a 5K run for Slim's Journey. And I think Jeff's here. Jeff Myers, you want to address the board on that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. It's my third year coming up to do this now. Slim's Journey 5K run that we've had here. I see a couple new faces, so I'll do some explaining. 5K run we started, this is our third year of doing it. So 2 years ago, it's a fundraiser to raise money for Friedreich's ataxia Research Alliance. Friedreich's ataxia is a rare neuromuscular disease that it's affected our family through our son, and this is one of the things that we do to try to raise a little money to see if we can at least find something to slow it down. It's an incurable disease. If we can't slow it down, try to stop it, and then one day hopefully find a cure for it. Proud to say that over the past 2 years we've had over 600 participants, raised about $45,000. So I feel it's a pretty good event, especially for Warrenton. My wife and I both live in Troy, but this is where we grew up, and this is where our families are. That's why we like to come back here. What I'm asking for is to be able to close Highway M eastbound from 7:45 to 8:15, and basically that gives us time to stage for the race. That's the start point. Stage for the race, release the runners down. They'll go eastbound on East Boonslick, down just past Holy Rosary. When they turn off, then we can open up M again for traffic. Coming back on the finish line, it ends up right there at Cool and East Main, right there by the College United Methodist Church. We are asking to shut down Cool from Vauchel all the way up to East Main from a period of 8 o'clock until 9. That is a little bit fluid, though. If our last participants come through earlier than that, then obviously we'll open it up after that. And we are looking to close the whole street. I think last year we just closed northbound. We're looking to close the whole street because we had a little bit of problem with some traffic coming against folks running back up the hill. So our main goal in all this is, one, to put on a good event, and then 1A is to make sure that everybody can do this safely. I talked to Chief Howdeshell a little bit ago. We're gonna see if we can keep an officer there at East Main throughout the from 8 to 9 while the event's going on, to make sure we can get people back across East Main Street as they finish, to get back over where if they parked over on the north side of the road. And I do have a flyer if anybody wants some of these. I guess I should have passed those out earlier.
I already have one.
You do?
Yes, we have a group.
Outstanding. And with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Are you looking for participants from the board?
Yes,
Is that
I
what you're
actually,
asking
you
for?
guys could lead it.
They would pass us pretty quickly.
It's the young guys that usually run out and take it over.
We understand.
But there's also a walk component to it also, if you'd like to walk.
Might consider that. I think it's,
Oh, yes, almost forgot. That's what my wife is here to help me out. Last year, or the past 2 years, what I've done is I've got a little stencil. It's about 18 inches tall. We mark the route with it because it does wind through a little bit of the residential area. We don't have a volunteer on every corner, and it's spray paint. Stencil it on the road. Lets the participants know which way to turn. I don't think we've had any problems in the past 2 years with those. I've actually heard some feedback from folks that they use those with their training to go run a 5K if they're exercising. They actually run the route and use the markers to do so.
is it water soluble type paint or?
It was it's just been regular spray paint. It does wear off. I know
It doesn't matter.
last year when I went back, most of them were almost all gone.
Okay. I don't know, Mr. Gavers, you.
No, we don't have a problem.
Problem with that? Okay. All right. I know since I've been here, you all have sponsored that event every year. I think it's a very worthy event, and I don't see that, or I don't think the board will have any issue with that, so. Chief Howdeshell, is there any issue from the police department?
None.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I would make a motion that we approve the application for the road closure on September 27th for the 5K Run for Slim's Journey.
I'll second that.
Motion by Alderman Holly, seconded by Alderman Sluter, that we approve the road closure on the 27th of May, 2014 for the 5K Run for Slim's Journey. Any further discussions or concerns? Roll call, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
Thank you very much.
We really don't, and I might ask Councilor Gravel, we don't really need to include the names of those streets in the motion?
No.
No, okay,
I think the application approving it
okay,
by reference is okay.
very good. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, sir.
Item 8 on the agenda is pool price of pool passes for foster children. And Rebecca, are you here? And how do you pronounce your last name?
Kuhn, Rebecca
Kuhn.
Kuhn, yes.
Okay.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor and board members. The rule states that there's only 7 family members before you have to buy additional family. Well, my family alone has 5, and every time there's more children that come, we have to buy additional family for these foster children. And I know 3 other families that, well, one family has 10 kids and 6 are foster kids. And that doesn't include the 2 parents, so there's 12 in her family. And so there's just limited families, and so I'm just asking if instead of us having to buy a whole nother family pass, if we can just add $10 per child that we have, because we have statements from the Children's Services stating they're in our care.
You have statements doing what? I didn't catch it.
No, I'm sorry. I talk a little fast when I get
I
nervous.
didn't catch the first part of that.
Children's Services gives us a piece of paper stating that these children are in our care and that they're foster kids.
Okay.
And so we don't get paid that much to take care of them, and then to have to buy additional $100 for their kids. And that's just what all I was going to see.
And we appreciate your concerns and appreciate you being a foster care family. I think if if we go back and look at why we put a limit on that, you know, what caused the board to adopt an ordinance and limit the number, it was being abused in past years, that
Right.
all of a sudden, almost a full daycare would show up.
Well-
And, you know, and sometimes, you know, it would be the foster children and 10 or 12 neighbor children all showed up at the same time. That's the reason we went that direction.
And I can definitely respect that, but I can tell you there's 13 living in my household right now. My daughter and grandchildren and everybody had to move back home. And they don't have a problem with buying their family pass. But when I have to bring in, I don't have to, I choose to, I like to take care of kids. But when I have to buy additional passes, I don't want to tell these kids, oh, sorry, I don't have the money to buy you a pool pass because I have to buy a whole nother family if it's just one child over and stuff. So that's why I was just asking because they copied the form from Children's Services that showed that these children are foster care children. And that's why I was asking if it could just be for foster kids, not additional neighborhood kids.
Terry, you want to expound on our present policy with that?
Sure. Currently, a family pass is 2 adults and 2 children for the $100 family pass. You can then add 3 additional children at $10 each, but a family pass is limited to 7 members.
There are 80 children in foster care.
How many?
80 children in Warren, Montgomery, and Aldermen counties that the foster support group helps support. But I didn't want to ask, I'm the secretary of that board, and I don't want to have to ask our board to have to pay for, because we're trying to help with school supplies and Christmas things.
And we applaud you for doing that. I think it's a great program. Kids got to have a home. You got to have someplace to live. We also have to look out for the city.
Right.
And we offer a swimming situation, and it's not a profitable thing for us. We have never made a dime's worth of profit on the swimming pool. And we understand that going in.
Right.
If you're going to offer that, you just accept that this is something that you want the community to have, want them to enjoy it, and it's not going to be a profitable situation. So we're aware of all that. Any comments on the board, any feelings?
Rebecca, can you estimate how many families would that affect here in Warrenton in this area?
I want to say just like 6, because I think there's only in Warrenton maybe 8 or 10 families only.
Okay.
That's it.
And of those 8 to 10 families, you know most of them, I'm assuming,
Yes.
with your association.
Yes.
How many of those probably buy pool passes?
Maybe just 2.
Okay, so we're not talking about a huge impact
No.
here, is where I'm going with it.
I mean, Children's Service wanted me to ask to see if there's something we could do for the older kids, but I don't know what the older kids do in their free time, or if they have jobs, or if they're just running the streets, or what the other parents do with these children. And I don't think it's fair to have other families be responsible who aren't willing to take on that responsibility. Does that make sense?
Sure. I would be supportive of her request, assuming that they've provided the documentation.
Alderperson Holly, one of the things that we came to a similar kind of situation, and I just want to bring this up because
Sure.
we kind of addressed it with recreation earlier in the year about, kids that were, I don't know the exact terminology, but were part of a free lunch program at school and stuff like that, and not having the money to participate in activities. And one of the things we did with that, and this may be a good expansion of this program, rather than necessarily change the rule, maybe kind of take a different angle like we did with recreation. Concept being that we created kind of a scholarship program where, there was some money donated on it the first year. The idea to try to raise some more awareness and get some more money donated, and then also maybe the city budgeting some money, because I think there is some public purpose there, we're getting towards the end of the pool season. This isn't really for this year, is it?
No.
It's for next year.
Right.
So maybe it's something we can kind of work into that program. And we'd actually talked about with prior recreational director, even doing some fundraising activities for that program. And just talking to Terry very briefly right now, this kind of fits into that, where we can kind of keep our rules, to say, hey, this is based on our experience, this is the best way to define these so we can keep a limitation, but then maybe alternatively try to find a funding source to maybe offset the cost, because the cost is really the issue for you.
Yes, sir. But can I just ask, the support group always has a garage sale, maybe once, or definitely once, but maybe twice a year, and not when the city is having the garage sale. So I don't know if there's if you have someone that could be there at the garage sale with their little bucket, or if you want us to have a little bucket there at the garage sale donating for this fund, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
and I'm sure the board doesn't
maybe,
either.
Since we're talking about next year, maybe it's something that we can get your information and we can kind of work as staff talk about it, as far as maybe kind of working that as part of that, as kind of an additional extension of it. Because I will tell you that even myself is excited about the idea of, and I don't know how many of the board knows this or how much the public knows it, but we did have a scholarship program for people that couldn't afford to participate in recreational activities last year. And I think how many people participated, Terry?
That number, I don't know.
It was 4 or 5, wasn't it?
Families?
Yeah.
We've had, probably 5
multiple
or 6
families and whatnot. And I think actually we may already have something in place. Rather than change this, maybe if you can give us a little bit of time to bring that back to you guys and say, hey, we can expand this to the pool pass. And then it's not just limited to foster kids. It's really saying, we do it as a first come, first serve, but any kids, whether it's the older kids or whatever, if they meet these guidelines and they want to participate, there's this pool of money to draw from to pay these fees.
Is this something that I would be able to next year when we have our garage sale, have flyers on? Because this is the first time hearing this, but
yeah, I mean, it's not really well known because
right,
we just started it, but it's pretty exciting to think about.
I'm one of the rare families, and I believe that the kids should do as many activities as possible, because they don't get those opportunities when they get home. And so I put them in sports and music and whatever that I can handle when you have a lot of kids in the house. So I guess if we, by next year, we could get a flyer and a little bucket or whatever you want us to put in there that would help donate to that fund, you're more welcome to call me or the president of the support group.
So maybe we can just kind of pass it, and then you stay in contact, and we'll try to work on that and present something back to you guys about it.
Okay. Any feelings from the board? Alderman Dreyer?
Sounds good.
Alderman Schluter?
As long as, like I said, willing to work with you, if you just stay in contact with us.
Okay, do I come back to like a board meeting? Is that what you want me to do?
We'll stay in contact with you, I think is what Mr. Gravel was trying to say.
Okay, I just didn't know if there's someone will contact me then?
And we have all winter to,
sure,
get this in place. And I'd forgotten about, to be honest with you, that we did this for the ball season and so forth, and done it in the past. So I think if we could continue on doing something like that, might solve your problem and our problem, so it doesn't get too far out of hand like it did.
I agree.
At one point.
Right.
Alderman Clark?
That's a great idea. I was going to suggest that I was all in favor of it, but we have all winter to think about it. What Chris came up with is a very good plan.
Well, that way we can keep and that's what we
can work on it.
Yeah, with recreation, keep in place what we have, but then really try to, supplement and do it. Because like I said, we did it last recreational season, and I think it was pretty successful. I think the families definitely appreciated it.
Chris, what did we do as a fundraiser for that?
We raised a little bit of private donation money, really is all we did. I think we had, $500 in there? Is that right? A little bit more than 500, and we were able to do it. And
there's money funded in the budget.
And there's money funded in the budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You fine with that?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what we can put together, and maybe by next pool season, and we'll be in touch with you as it gets closer to that too.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for appearing before us. I'm on item 9, Brad Buzzy Cruz. Grounds and Maintenance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Looking at the Dyer Park basketball court project, the budget amount was $10,000. Come in at $9,964.19. I'd like to get this project started.
And that's something you're ready to get started on?
Yes,
Okay. Any questions for Brett?
No. I'll make a motion that we approve the, for $9,964.19 to do the basketball courts.
Second.
Dyer Park, yeah.
Motion made by Alderman Clark, seconded by Alderman Hawley to approve the bid for the basketball court resurfacing at Dyer Park in the amount of $9,964.19. Any other discussion, concerns? Roll call, please.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
Next, I have the edging and rubber tire mulch for the, this would be going to Dyer and the athletic complex for both of those to replenish the rubber tire mulch that's in those and put the edging up around the, we're going to put a 6x6 edging around to kind of contain the material.
Just in the playground area?
Yes, underneath all the playgrounds.
Okay.
Was there ever any consideration of putting concrete around it with like a sidewalk or something around those play areas? I showed you photographs of ones.
No, we never. The park board looked at about doing that, about putting a trail in, because we have to have, if we start one, we almost have to have something, and the cost was pretty.
This would just be around the play area ones. I know, like when I had my grandchildren up here, the rocks and stuff was
Right.
all scattered out everywhere. And
The
what
only
was
problem
nice
with
about the
putting-
one in what I seen in Boise was that they go back with leaf blowers and blow it all back into the play area. And that, to me, that looked like a good idea. I guess you guys rake it back in or something?
Yeah, we rake it and blow it back in, and blow the grass back out.
I mean, that could be used for the next time through, but I think that's something you need to, I would like for you to look closer at.
Okay, I just don't. I just don't
It
know.
might, like you say, it might be too costly.
I think, yeah, because I think we looked about doing some of that, and it just didn't fit in with what we were, too much cost is what was involved, so that's why we kind of went with this.
Any other questions for Brett?
Make a motion that we approve the rubber tire mulch bid in the amount of $7,600.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Hawley, seconded by Alderman Dreyer to approve the rubber mulch bid in the amount of $7,600. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Mr. Gevers, I got you up at item 10.
First item I have is the pipe hauler trailer, and that was budgeted for $5,000, and it came in with CSH trailers for $4,280. I'd like to have approval for that, to purchase that.
Any questions, concerns?
Just out of curiosity, what's the size of this trailer?
8 by 5 by 20.
So it's a trailer hitch,
Yes, trailer. It ain't.
not a hook on the trail, like a tandem or like a semi where it hooks
No,
on the middle of the trailer.
it's a ball type hitch.
You have a motion?
You need a motion?
Yep.
Make a motion to go with the recommendation of the Public Works Director to accept the lowest bid of $4,280.
I'll second it.
Motioned by Alderman Clark, seconded by Alderman Schluter to accept the Public Works Director's recommendation from CSH Trailers in the amount of $4,280. Roll call, please.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0 with two absent. Water system, general engineering.
I'd like to have an agreement with Cochran Engineering on an as-a-need basis for our water system. Cochran did a complete survey of our program, including hydraulic systems and then the towers and that and information through the city. And this would be as a need basis, so it'll come up as a task order with not to exceed a certain price. So if we have an issue that we have an engineer on hand ready to address it.
This is not part of our wastewater system.
No, this is a complete different engineer.
Just our water.
Just our water system.
Okay.
Is there an amount to this?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an amount?
There will be no amount. It's just, this is just an agreement just saying that I can use Cochran, and if we have an issue, then I will contact Cochran. They will look at our issue, come up with a task order, come up with a price, and not to exceed that price. So if we have an issue, we can move forward on that, and they can come up and give us a price. So anything that's going to be done will come back through the board to be looked at. This is just something so I can get somebody in here and to address it, and since Cochran's already done a lot of the legwork for the city in 2010, they're familiar with our system. So if there's any money involved, it will have to come back
Still comes
to
back to the
the board.
There's a bill on later.
Oh, there's an
You
ordinance,
just
okay.
wait.
So no, anyone concerned about that? I know we've used Cochran for several years now, and they're very knowledgeable of our system and so forth, so I don't think there's any issue with this.
Okay, thank you. And then the next item I have is the approval to hire James Shackelford at $12 an hour as a meter reader. He's worked here for the last 2 summers at the recreation and been working for game time in the concession. So it's kind of working out good that he started and working his way up.
Any questions regarding James? I do need a motion
I
for
make a
that.
motion to approve the hire of James Shackelford as a meter reader at $12 per hour.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Holly, seconded by Alderman Clark to approve the hire of James Shackelford as a meter reader at $12 an hour. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0. Anything else, Mr.
Good.
Beavers?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm at Director of Operations, Finance Officer, Terry Thorne.
My first item for you this evening is the employee uniform shirt bids. We did receive responses from 4 companies. One of those, Express Press out of Springfield, did not provide the prices for embroidered shirts, and then also we asked them for a sample of the hats that they proposed, and they did not respond to that. The lowest bidder for the t-shirts is Adwear out of Houston, Texas. We did look at the sample of the t-shirt, and it is exactly the same shirt as we've been receiving from Eagle Activewear here locally. Eagle Activewear is $218 higher than this Houston, Texas company. We're familiar with them. They've been working with us on shirts and different pieces of our employee uniforms for quite some time. And so the question to be answered with the t-shirts is, are we willing to spend an additional $218 so that we have a local supplier? hopefully avoid the shipping, order not received, lost in the mail. There's a problem, we need one shirt to be corrected, and now we're paying shipping. So I think that's the decision to be made with the t-shirts.
I think Alderman Clark commented, it looks like all the t-shirts are pretty much the same quality,
Yes.
same brand, same style and everything.
Yes.
So it would just be what you said, the convenience that they're here local. If we have a mix-up or a mess-up, we can deal with someone local there.
That's correct.
Also, if you have additional order to be done, you're not required to cost.
Okay.
You ready for a motion?
Is there any other discussion, any other concerns?
I totally agree. I think keeping it local, if you have a sizing problem or somebody needs an issue, you can take care of it right away. I think it's a smart thing to do, especially since it's not even local like in Warren County. It's just an hop, skip, and a jump. You can drive right over there within minutes. I definitely like that.
So is it your recommendation that we go with Eagle Active?
I won't ever recommend not the lowest bidder unless I have something more than local, but that's certainly your decision to make as the board. But I'd like to talk about the polo shirts also. I do recommend going with Eagle for the polo shirts because there is only a $40 difference, and I think we would eat that up easily in a couple of shipping costs. And typically with polo shirts, we have more than one order, so it's never done in one order in one shipment. Their bid for polo shirts is $660, and then also on the hats, they are not the low bidder for the hats, but there was a significant difference in the winter knit stocking hats. The weight of the ones from Eagle Activewear are much heavier and much thicker and bulkier than the ones that were provided from Adwear. So I am recommending Eagle Activewear for both the hats and the knit polo shirts. And then if the board so chooses, also for the t-shirts.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to go with Eagle Activewear, which was the second lowest bidder due to quality in the polo shirts and the hats being higher. Going with their bid instead of the lowest bid.
So is your motion then, you're saying for the t-shirts?
For all three.
The polo shirts?
All three.
Summer hats, winter hats?
Encompassing the t-shirts, the polo shirts, and the winter hats.
Okay, for the same reason, quality?
Correct. Quality.
I second.
You second that? Motion made by Alderman Sluter, seconded by Alderman Clark to go with Eagle Activewear for the purchase of our t-shirts, our knit sport polos, our summer hats, and our winter hats. Does that cover it all?
Yes, it does.
Any questions, concerns? Roll call, please.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0, 2 absent.
And then just a couple of other things for you. We have started working with Joy Howard, our financial advisor, on putting together all the data for the bond offering statement. For the sewer improvements, our goal is to have those bonds issued by the end of the year and ready to move forward. Right now, it's looking as if we will not have to have a reserve fund, although it's possible that could happen. But it looks like our financial situation is good enough that perhaps we will not have to do that. And we're also working on getting all the data and information together, which is it's a huge document and a lot of data. So once that's done, then she'll be able to complete that, put that out to the bond market, and get bond counsel working on those documents that are necessary. So that project is moving forward.
Yeah, what do you think the time frame is going to be on that? On how far before we know exactly where we stand on that?
Once we get the offering statement together, which is going to give all those prospective bond companies It gives them all our financial data, it gives them all the history of the city, lets them know what our debt to revenue ratios are. All of those are things that will be considered in what they offer. So once we have that document ready, that'll be included. She'll send it out to bids to all of the prospective bonding agencies. I think we will probably have that, I'm going to say around the first part of November. And then after that, it's just a matter of, you know, all the technicalities of getting everything done to get it wrapped up. But it's going to have to move fairly quickly. Joy believes she can have it funded by the end of December. So we're going to have to move, you know, pretty rapidly to get everything done and get it wrapped up by then. That's our goal.
Sounds good.
The engineers are currently working on the construction documents. So by spring, we should start to see that process moving forward.
Any other questions for Terry? I think we're good. Thank you, Terry. I'm on item 12 of the agenda. Gabrielle Curry, Finance Manager. What have you got for us, Gabrielle?
Good evening. The first item I have is the accounts payable listing for June 2014 invoices. So I'm requesting approval to pay these invoices that total $47,539.05.
What was the cents part?
5
cents. 47,539.05. Any questions for Gabrielle on these expenses?
I make a motion to approve expenditure of $47,539.05. Accounts payable.
I'll second that.
Motion by Alderman Clark, seconded by Alderman Sluter to approve the request on accounts payable in the amount of $47,539.05. Roll call, please.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0 with 2 absent.
Okay, the next item I have are the July invoices. And those total $295,419.52. And I'm requesting approval to pay those as well.
Any questions? Ready for a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the July 2014 invoices in the amount of $295,419.52.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Alderman Hawley, seconded by Alderman Sluter to approve the July 2014 invoices in the amount of $295,419.52. Any questions? Roll call.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Motion carried 4-0 with 2 absent. Anything else, Gabrielle?
Yes, I have the monthly report for June. It does not include the financial statements or the summary because we still have auditing entries that we're going to do, so the June financial reports will not be complete until we get that part done. But there are other supplemental reports that are included there.
Okay.
So, if you guys have any questions about that?
Any questions? I think we're good.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Slenter, Economic Developer.
Good evening. I have my ED report for you.
It looks like you've had some activity,
Yes.
some interest in the community, and we just need to land a couple of those fish.
Keep up your hard work.
Part,
I said, keep up your hard work.
it looks like there's still a demand for existing buildings, vacant buildings that, I don't know if there's a lot of communities have those out there.
Some still do. They're starting to dwindle, so hopefully we'll be able to see something coming of that.
Have we considered maybe build, or doing a spec building somewhere, and, or is that too risky of an adventure to try to lure someone in?
Currently, the only land we have would be the IDA land, which is, that we have that's in Truesdale. I know that we did have one spec building that the city built years ago, and I think it took approximately 8 years, was it, for
8
that
years?
building to sell? It took several years, and I know Wright City has a spec building that they've built that they're still trying to fill.
Okay.
But that is owned by Quiver River, and they're trying to get a high energy user in there at this time, and they still have not gotten anyone in it.
So
You'd
yeah,
have somebody to bankroll it that's willing to make the payments on it while it sits.
Yes.
that's the key on there.
Right.
Maybe Ameren would do that for us. We asked them. So you're not very favorable about crawling out there on a limb on doing something?
At this time, no.
No. Okay.
What's the size of the spec building at Wright City?
I don't remember what size the
fine,
one
I'm
that
just
they have in
curious.
Wright City is.
Okay.
But they've had that building for quite some time now, too.
Yes.
Okay.
The other thing I have for you is I'd like to inform you of a chamber after-hours / ribbon cutting. It is going to be at 402 Progress Parkway, which is the old Reps building, August 15th at 5:30. And this is Hubkiddo Plus. They used to be on the North Service Road. They have moved there, and they also have a branch that's called K4 Fitness that's going to be in there as well. And so again, that's August 15th at 5:30 at 402 Progress Parkway, a chamber after hours and ribbon cutting ceremony.
Okay. Any questions for Michelle? Everybody's good? Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I'm at item 14. I have one bill that needs to be converted over to an ordinance. It's bill number 52-14. If there's no questions or anything, I'll entertain a motion for the first reading.
I'll make a motion for the first reading of bill number 52-14.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Sluter, seconded by Alderman Holly for first reading of bill number 52-14.
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement between Cochran and the city of Warrenton, Missouri for general water system engineering services.
Call for the second and final reading and passage of bill number 52-14.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Clark, seconded by Alderman Dreyer for second and final reading and passage of bill number 52-14.
An ordinance to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement between Cochran and the city of Warrenton, Missouri for general water system engineering services.
Any other discussions? Roll call.
Alderman Holly?
Yes.
Alderman Clark?
Yes.
Alderman Dreyer?
Yes.
Alderman Schluter?
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0 with 2 absent. At this time, pardon me, what did I say? 6-0? Where'd I get the other 2?
Not sure.
4-0 with 2 absents. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Schluter, seconded by Alderman Dreyer for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. We're adjourned.